I'm going to continue playing my Hobbit saga, playing Quest 2 in the Hobbit Over Hill and Underhill expansion. Over the Misty Mountains Grim. After a brief respite at the house of Elrond in Rivendell, Bilbo and the dwarves began the long climb over the Misty Mountains. Elrond warned them the mountains were full of danger. Stone giants tossed huge boulders for fun, and evil things lurked in the dark caves, waiting for unsuspecting travelers to let their guard down. Yet those were the perils Bilbo and his companions had to face to reach the other side of the mountains and continue their quest. I'm going to be playing with the same decks as we played in the previous quest of Ori, Nori, and Dane Ironfoot. Now we got Bilbo Baggins, Salin, Gimli, and Bifur. Starting spread for deck 1 is 28. Deck 2 is 27. For our opening hands, Glowin', Hidden Cache, Dwarf Pipe, Very Good Tale, Lucky Number, and We Are Not Idle. Gonna take a mulligan. Hasty Stroke, Lore of Moria, Durin's Song, Unexpected Courage, Sneak Attack, and Feely. Deck 2, Gondorian Spearman, Radagast Cunning, Gondorian Spearman, Protector of Lorien, Duran's Ruins, and a Citadel Plate. We'll keep this deck. This hand. A short rest. Shuffle the Over the Misty Mountains Grim and the Western Lands encounter sets into the one encounter deck and make it the active encounter deck. Then shuffle the Great Goblin and Misty Mountain Goblins encounter sets into a second encounter deck and set it aside out of play. So here's the deck we're setting aside out of play. And here's the encounter set that we're going to be playing with. 1B. 0 quest points. After a refreshing stay in the house of Elrond, Bilbo and his companions resume their quest for the Lonely Mountain. But to reach Erebor, the first had to climb the high pass over the Misty Mountains. When revealed, each player may search their deck for one treasure card and add it to their hand, then shuffle his deck, advance to stage 2A. We're going to put Sting into our hand with deck 1 and Glamdring with deck 2, and shuffle our decks. "2A. The Mountain Pass. When he peeped out in the lightning flashes, he saw that across the valley the stone giants were out and were hurling rocks at one another for a game, and catching them and tossing them down into the darkness, where they smashed among the trees far below and splattered into little bits with a bang." The Hobbit. 2B. 16 quest points. When revealed, search the encounter deck for one copy of Stone Giant and add it to the staging area. Then shuffle the encounter deck. Reveal one card per player from the encounter deck and add it to the staging area. So card 1 is Dreary Hills. Card 2 is a Grappling of Giants. When revealed, the first player chooses one stone giant in the staging area at the end of the quest phase. That stone giant engages that player with the highest engagement cost. If there are no stone giants in the staging area, search the encounter deck for one stone giant adds to the staging area. Sigil Miner. I'm going to put Sting on the Bilbo Baggins. Or to deck 2, Honor Guard. We're going to put Glamdring onto Gimli. +2 attack. Play at Duran's Ruins. Draw 2 cards. We're going to put a Gondorian Spearman into play. Now we're going to quest. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And there is 7 in the staging area. Overhanging rock. 2 threat, 3 quest points. While overhanging rock is the active location, it gains action. Spend 1 Baggins resource to look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Add 1 of those to your hand and discard the other. And another stone giant. It takes 1 damage. So we added 6. So we quested neutral. Now we have to, because of the grappling giants, we have to engage 1 of these. Engage damage 1. And it goes to deck 1 because of the 28 threat. And we're traveling to overhanging rock. And we have no allies to discard. And we're going to block with the Gondorian Spearman, so we deal 1 damage to the stone giants. No shadow, destroyed. Raise our score by 1 and go to the next round. Miner of the Iron Hills. I'll put out a Miner of the Iron Hills. And a Gondorian Spearman. Go to deck 1, Dory. Put a Sigil Miner into play. Use our threat by 1. Now there's 7 in the staging area. We're going to quest for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Lone lands. 2 threat, 3 quest points. After placing 1 or more progress tokens on lone lands, each player removes 1 resource from one of his hero resource pools if able. After Lowlands leaves play as an explored location, Bilbo Baggins gains 1 resource. And more like a grocer, discard all Baggins resources. So added 2, so it cuts successfully by 4. That clears the overhanging rock and puts 1 progress onto the main quest. We're going to travel to Lowlands. Now Stone Giants is attacking, and we're going to block with the residual miner. No shadow, it's destroyed. Go to the next round. Erebor Hammersmiths. We're going to put Feely into play. And when enter play from your hand, you can search your deck for Keely and put them into play. And we'll reduce our threat by 1. And we're going to put Dory into play. Reduce our threat by 1. Go over to deck 2. Citadel Plate. I'm going to put an Honor Guard into play. Now we're going to quest. There's 7 in the staging area. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Card 1, Stone Giants. Card 2 is Whipped Rain. Discard all non-treasure, non-objective attachments. We don't have any. So we added 4. So we quest successfully by 6. We're up to 7. Or up to actually 4. Because we have to put 3 on the active location. So now we remove our resource from one of our heroes and put 1 onto Bilbo. Now we're going to the questing phase. The combat phase. And now we're going to block with Feely. No shadow. It's destroyed. And we go to the next round. Duron's Ruins. Play that. Draw 2 cards. Orcrist and Duron's Ruins. I'm going to discard a Sizzle Plate. Another Duron's Ruins. Forest Snare and Dagger. And discard the Dagger. Orcrist on Gimli, giving another 2 attack. I'll go over to deck 1. We get to draw 2 cards because we have 5 dwarves. Put Erebor Record Keeper into play. Reduce our threat by 1. Now we're going to go to the questing phase. There is 11 in the staging area. We're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Galloping Boulders. The first player chooses a questing character. That character takes 3 damage and is removed from the quest. We're going to remove this one from the quest and it's destroyed. And that has gained Surge. Suspicious Crow. It's destroyed because it's Alan. And no campfires. Doom 1. Raise your threat by 4 or reveal an additional encounter card. We're going to raise each of our threats by 4. So we had a no threat, so we quest successfully by 5. So we're up to 9. Now we're going to travel to the Dreary Hills. Now we're going to block with Keeley. No shadow. Destroyed. Now we go to the next round. Burglar Baggins. We're going to give Gimli some cram. A magic ring. Now we're going to play Gandalf. Reduce our threat by 5. There's 8 threat in the staging area. We're going to quest for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 22, and then ready up with cram. First card is a Galloping Boulders. The first player chooses a questing character, and that character takes 3 damage is removed from the quest. We'll take Gandalf. So we go down to 18. Actually, we're going to just get rid of this minor. And that Surge. Crow destroyed. Discard all non-treasure, non-objective attachments. We have no non-treasure, non-objective attachments. So no threat was added. So we quest successfully for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Clears this and puts 11 here. So we go to the next stage. We each have to discard a random card. And then we put 1 resource onto Bilbo. "3A, down, down to Goblin Town. Out jumped the goblins, big goblins, great ugly looking goblins, lots of goblins, before you could say rocks and blocks." The Hobbit. When revealed, shuffle all encounter cards back into the encounter deck and set it aside inactive. The second encounter deck becomes the active encounter deck. Search the encounter deck for the Great Goblin and add to the staging area, then shuffle the encounter deck. So here's the Great Goblin. 15 threat. 3, 5, 2, 8. Goblin Orc. Force. After the Great Goblin attacks, discard X cards from the counter deck, where X is the number of players in the game. Add each goblin enemy discarded by this effect to the staging area. (3B) 20 quest points. Players can't defeat this stage unless the Great Goblin's in the victory display. When revealed, reveal 3 encounter cards per player. Bilbo Baggins may spend X resources to reduce the total number of encounter cards revealed by X to a minimum of 1. If the players defeat this stage, they've won the game. So I'm going to spend 5 Baggins resources to reduce it down to 1. So that's the key thing with this quest. Try to get at least 5 Baggins resources to make the next stage not so difficult. It's a Goblin Axeman. So he takes 1 damage from Salin. So now we go to the engagement phase. We're going to engage the Goblin Axeman, and we're going to engage the Great Goblin here. And we're going to spend 1 resource here and give it over to Vipper. Now we deal out shadow cards. We're going to block the Orc Axeman with the Spearman. And it does 1 damage to it and it's destroyed. And after Goblin attacks, discard X cards. We're going to block with the Honor Guard. Defending player exhausts 1 character he controls. We'll exhaust Gimli. So the Honor Guard is destroyed. And we have to reveal 2 cards. A Goblin Bent Swords and a Great Cavern Room. So 1 orc got added. Now we go to the next round. Forest Snare. We're going to play a Forest Snare onto the Great Goblin. And put a magic ring onto Gimli. Gandalf is gone. Go over to deck 1, King Under the Mountain. We're going to put a Erebor Hammersmith into play. That will return the top attachment from a player's discard file. We'll put in Cram. Reduce our threat by 1. And we're going to put a Cram onto Dane. Now we're going to go to questing. There is 2 in the staging area. And we're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. $15, $16. First card is Goblin Miners. It's dealt to damage. Second card is a Goblin Bent Swords. It's dealt to damage. So we added 4 threat. So we're up to 5, 6. So you quest successfully for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now they're all going to be engaging. Engage Goblin Bent Swords over here and 1 over here. And this one will engage me over here. Deal out shadow cards. We're going to block the Goblin Miners with the Gondorian Spearman is destroyed. Then we're going to block the Goblin Bent Sword with Gimli. +1. +2 instead of the Goblin's Knot. So we get attacking for 4. And we have 2 defense, so we take 2 damage. And we get +2 attack. And now this we're going to block with Erebor Hammersmith. Attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. It takes 2 damage. Now we're going to block with Dane. Attacking enemy is returned to the staging area after attack is resolved. And the Great Goblin didn't attack. We still have to deal it shadow cards. And now I'm going to attack, raise my threat by 1, and ready up Gimli and attack for 5, 6, 7, 8 because Dane is exhausted, and destroy him. And I get to draw a card and add a resource to his resource pool. Raise our threat by 1. And go to the next round. Draw 2 cards because we have 2 dwarfs. An Unexpected Courage onto Salin. Now we're going to go to the questing phase. There's 2 in the staging area. We're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then we're going to play a Lore of Moria and ready all dwarf characters. Card 1. Grip, Grab, Pinch, and Nab. When revealed, starting with the first player, each player must choose 1 goblin enemy in the discard pile and add it to the staging area. We're going to get a Goblin Runners and Goblin Miners. And then we got a Great Cavern Room. A Great Cavern Room is the active location that gains force. After a player engages a goblin enemy, it must deal 1 damage to a character it controls. So we added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're up to 7. So we quest successfully by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're up to 25. So now all we need to do is destroy the Great Goblin. So we're going to engage the Goblin Bent Swords here, over here, and Goblin Miners comes over here. Deal out shadow cards. We're going to block with Dane. Defending player exhausts 1 character he controls. We'll exhaust Ori. Now we're going to ready up Dane. And we're going to block with the Goblin Miner. The Erebor Hammersmith. Attacking enemy is returned to the staging area after its attacks. And this one is destroyed. And now we're going to block with the Spearman. Deals 1 damage. Defending player gets -1 defense. so it's destroyed. Now we discard this, and now we're going to attack. We need 10. We're attacking for 8, 9, 10. And that will destroy the Great Goblin. Goes to the victory display. And if the players defeat this stage, they have won the game. And you can't defeat us unless Great Goblin's in the victory display, and he is. So there's a win. And I would say the MVPs in this one was the Lord of Moria for the deck 1, and the Forest Snare for deck 2, trapping that Great Goblin so he wouldn't keep attacking and spawning goblins. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in Dungeons Deep and Caverns Dim.